Hey family, what's up? So yeah, I just wanted to stay on this 2 chord progression idea. The last 2 songs that I used was I'll Take You There by the Staple Singers and Let's Do It Again, also by the Staple Singers. And those are just great examples of songs that only use primarily 2 chords. Let's Do It Again had some other stuff going on, but basically it was 2 chords. On that topic, I really want to cover how to expand from major chords, okay? And I'm going to use major chords as the main starting point, and then we're going to build from that, and we can see how extended chords can fill in the gaps of what sounds as though something is missing, okay? There's nothing wrong with major chords and even using straight minor chords. But sometimes even if you only use major and minor chords, you can get different melodic ideas that you can sing over regular major and minor chords. And a lot more will be added to the song. Okay, so major the whole time, it's not that interesting. You know, maybe it may be appropriate for that song, but anytime you want to wow someone, I would definitely entertain transitioning from only major and only minor to making it a little more lush, a little more harmonically rich by using other melodic structures, okay, and sequences. All right, so here's the example. And first of all, we know what harmony and melody means, right? Melody is, as an example, a singer. Harmony, for example, is a group of singers or 2 or more singers. Okay, so 2 or more notes played at once. So think chords when you think harmony, and think soloing or a solo singer when you think melody. So melody is sort of like notes being played or sang in a sequence. Harmony is 2 or more notes played at once, and even those are moving possibly in a sequence. I mean, that's just a loose way of explaining it. Hey, I help beginner and intermediate guitar players play with confidence and creativity. I've got a course and community with step-by-step lessons and live guidance. Usually, the guitar players who come to me are career individuals and wish that they would have taken guitar at a younger age, and actually they feel like it's too late. And I mean, even some individuals are like in their 40s and they feel like they should have started much, much earlier. And I even have some in their 60s and they're just like, man, I retired and I never started playing guitar. Is it too late for me? I'm like, of course not. Number one, I was not a childhood guitar player. I started in my 20s, and now I am a working musician. I know a little bit about the journey. At the same time, I do know that time passes. You gotta just start. And I am more than willing to help you to get on the path and stay on the path and just guide you and make sure that you're not walking in the dark. And, you know, I'm here to be a little bit of light for you and make sure that you're going in the right direction. So there's a link in the description, and there's probably a link somewhere up above for you to actually click and just join the community. All right. Major chords. We know what that is. It is a root, third, and fifth, chord structure. Right now, we're in the key of A. And without even talking about the key necessarily, if we're in the key of A, we know that the A major is the root of that key. Okay, we got that. And we also can pull from a D major, which is the 4 of the A major key. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if we were to keep going, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Okay. All right. If we were to do the whole chord melody thing so that we just know, we know what all the chords are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And if we were to go back to 1 and count down, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. But if we're doing this chord progression, A major, D major, we can also do it down here, A major and a D major here. There's nothing wrong with that. But we want to, we want to add more to it. And I did a little drum track so that you can sort of hear what I'm playing on top of it so that it can sort of like make a little bit of sense. All right. And using R&B music is a very good example for this, okay? So this is just some drums and keys playing A major and D major. I'm gonna play on top of that. It's a great way to start. And if someone was recording music, they're gonna say, something needs to be added, even if it's just a little something. And typically what people reach for is either a dominant seventh type of vibe or a major seventh kind of thing. So a major seventh is the actual seventh of that scale. So here we go. There's the major seventh. Okay. It's right there. Now, if you play that note by itself, it seems like it doesn't go. Okay. But if you were to play that over the A major seventh, you see how it can go. It's right there. That's kind of cool how if you take the major seventh from the A major, from the A major seventh to take the major seventh from that, and the major seventh from the D major seventh, it makes a whole separate melody. Here it is. So even if the singer kind of hung on those notes over these major chords, it'll start to open it up. Okay? So if something was in the background, that would actually be kind of cool versus this. It's cool, but it sounds, it's obvious. Versus when you go here. You see what I'm saying? So this starts to open it up a little cooler in a way. And I'm playing that over the major chords. Okay? So let's go again. Just by doing that, it makes it a little more interesting. Now we're about to add some other things, okay? Because even this might, someone may think, well, this is a little boring. Even though this may be enough for some. All right. Right now I wanna pull in some extended chords. So extended chords, basically, like the main explanation in this is just going past the 1 again. So when you're counting a major scale and you go back to the 1, after you count to the 7 and go back to the 1, well, you can start back at the 1 and then everything just starts over again. Or you can continue counting and you can add those voicings. So here's what that means. I'm going to do the major scale. This is the 7th. And when we start back at the 1, we're not going to call that a 1. We're going to call that an 8. Okay. And then but we're going to continue to play the major scale, and we're going to continue to count up. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, back to 1 again. Now, it doesn't go past 14 because everything starts to repeat itself again. At that point, you're just layering the same notes, okay? In terms of even frequency, mathematically, everything, it starts to repeat itself. But up until that point, it does not repeat itself, okay? So just like we added the 7th, and we added that 7th in with the root, the 3rd and 5th, also the 7th. So and technically you don't have to add the 3rd. You can do the 1, the 5th, the major 7th. You can do that as well. But anyhow, so now what if you want to add a 9 or a 13? Okay, well, you would count up in the way that I showed you, and you'll come up with some other voicings. And you can do that for every single position, every single chord position. You can do the same things. This video is not exactly about that in particular, but I'm helping you to understand where I'm getting my shapes from. We can memorize shapes, and that is cool up until a certain point. I tell most of us, when we're actually memorizing shapes, don't get caught up on that. You'll start to get bored with that. Those of us who learn like the cage system, I also say don't get stuck on that cage system. You know, use it to start, but when you go through that season of understanding what those are, understanding how you can use them, okay, cool. Now let's go to the next thing, because now you got it locked in. So as far as even shapes, don't get stuck on shapes. Okay? Just like shapes in general. Like, learn them, but also figure out why those are the shapes. Okay? So that's that part. And we can even talk about that on another video. But now that I said that part, so now we're going to talk about, we're doing the 2 major chords, which is A major and D major. Then I went to A major 7th to D major 7th. Well, what if we want to kind of walk up to that? Because there are ways that you can kind of fill in just those 2 chords. Not only playing like the 2 chords in terms of like tonally and adding more notes, not only in that way, but tonally you can add more richness to what you're playing overall. So some of you understand the circle of fifths and things like that. That's an awesome way to implement movement into your chord progressions. So say, for example, from A to D. Now A is the 1 and D is the 4. Okay, this is the 4. But we want to get back to that 1. Let's find a creative way to get back to the 1 after we go to the 4. So again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay. But we want to get back to that 1 in a creative way and in a simple way. Okay. Let's utilize the circle of fifths to actually get to that. And we'll talk about that at a different time, but we're just utilizing it to make it more, to just give it more movement, maybe underneath these chords. Okay. So even though the bass line is doing what it's doing on the guitar, I'm going to just do some other things to inform what I want to do. Okay, after I hit this 4, I'm going to do some other stuff. And that's just from a bass line standpoint, from a root standpoint. And what's going to happen is I'm going to not play the root anymore, but I'm going to add a chord to the root. And then all you're going to hear are voicings after that. Okay. So here are my voicings. I'm not playing the root right now. Here's the root. But without the root. Still hear the chords. Here's it again. You hear that? It's adding richness. Let's go back to the root. All right. Now when I go to that 6 to walk back up to the 1, I'm going to add voicings with those too. And I'm going to use extended chords, okay? Now, to start off, let's just do regular minor and major chords. You heard that? Let's do it again. But those are only major and minor. So what if we want to do something like minor 7 flat 5? I guess technically that's not an extended chord, but it's like a flat, you know, it's a chord that has flats and sharps and stuff in it. Okay. It adds more to it. Okay. Let's try another idea. Okay, that's another idea. So, you know, we don't have to just play the A and D. So those are just some other examples. Now the chords that I'm playing, you already know about the A major 7th and the D major 7th. Well, this right here, let me stop this for a minute. So over the 6, that's a F sharp. The root is F sharp, okay? Now, naturally, that F sharp is a minor chord. Naturally, the 2 is a minor chord as well. The 5 is a major chord. The 1 is a major chord. The 4 is a major chord, whatever. So we got that. But major 7th chords can fit over the 1 and 4. Over that, the 6. Now, this is not a natural chord that fits on that 6, but you know, why not play with it being like a minor 7 flat 5? So here's a minor 7th. Here's a minor 7th. Well, you got to flat that 5. That makes it a minor 7 flat 5. And the 2, instead of the B minor, what if we did a B7 sharp 5? Okay. That is what that is, right? Yeah. That's over the 2, and then over the 5, we can do like that's an E9. So that's the chord progression. So by doing that, now I have new melodies to play with. Okay, melodies and harmonies. So instead of I got now boom, 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 boom. So this adds to just more, it adds more richness. So now so vocally I can I can add this there, you know. You see what I'm saying? Sorry about that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm doing that. So actually that was wrong. Let's go. So this is what is adding to it. Boom. You see that? Just by doing those chords. Now I showed you some other chords too. I did a F sharp 11. It was an F sharp 11, so it's a B minor 7 flat 5. And we can utilize still use an E9 in that, but it would sound like, so a little different. Instead of, we're doing, okay, so both work as a connector going back to the 1 from the 4. Does that make sense? So here we go. So that's just a way of like going back and forth and getting back to the 1. We're gonna do that second option. Now when I come back to the 1, I'm gonna do something else again. I'm gonna play a A13 on top of the 1, but go back to the major 7th. I'm gonna go to the A13, but still resolve at some point to the A major 7th. That's what I'm really trying to say. So here we go. See what I did? So I went to the A13. So this added more melodic options that I can utilize just by using extended chords. So, you know, we don't have to just default to major 7th chords, you know, and a lot of this can be in the background, and the main vocal or the main lines can still sound, can still be the lines that are within the key, but a lot of the harmonics in the background, the harmonic richness that's in the background can be from the extended chords. And this is widely used in R&B music, okay? So just know there's just different things that you can do with those notes if you decide to go outside of the key. And don't be afraid to do that. And of course I talk about that. Now I go deeper into it otherwise. But just know that explanation is available, and you know, let me know if you want more of that. Okay, so just letting you know you're not stuck to major chord stuff ever, and you're not stuck to the rhythmic elements either. So just keep that in mind. Don't get comfortable and stagnant at major chords, minor chords. You have extended chords, and even if you don't go extended, you could look at your flat 5s, your sharp 5, you know, type chords within the key as well, and those work too. Okay, those add some harmonic richness. And also your diminished chords, I'm going to talk about that on another video, which I've already talked about it, so I'll just be doing a refresher. But I do have videos up about diminished chords, but we can get into some augmented chords as well. So just keep that in mind. All right, there's a lot that you can do, and I will definitely talk to you all later. And I hope that these tutorials are helping, and like drop a comment and let me know if they're helpful. All right, y'all, peace.